Hey, Bisista here, and welcome to the finals of WDC Season 2. We are playing against Brave, coach of the Tokyo Tinkatons, and we are hoping to be able to get the championship here. So this is definitely going to be a tough matchup, and here is the matchup. They have a very strong Sun mode with Torkoal, Walking Weight, and Great Tusk. All of them can benefit from the Sun. In addition to that, they have Whimsicott with Prankster Sunny Day, which can help set up the Sun for those Mons, and also just generally Prankster Tailwind support from Whimsicott is very powerful. They have a very strong Fake Out Mon in Tinkaton, which also has some really powerful Gigaton Hammer, so good still coverage, but also just good generic support moves like Encore and Thunderwave. And then they have really great special coverage with Thunderous, especially if it is that can do like Terra Blast and get some really good, stab flying move or something like that. So those are the main six that I was expecting to see this week, and I prepped for. The main question is what I wanted to bring. I really like Gliscor because Gliscor offensively deals with everything I mentioned other than Walking Wake. In addition, I think Greninja is really good because it outspeeds everything on their team, and ice and water coverage hits everything for at least neutral. And because they have the Whimsicott, I definitely feel pressured somewhat to bring Volbeat for my own Prankster in order to set up my own Tailwinds to deal with their Sunny Day with like Rain Dance and things like that. Other than that, I struggled a little bit on whether or not I wanted my Raging Bolt, which was my S tier this season, and I decided I don't really like it since I'm expecting a lot of mons that are really good to it, and offensively it's not great, especially if I have some like Fairy Tears within this matchup. And so I decided to go with Ambipom for the first time this season instead, because I like the fake out support and the ability to outspeed most things, and assuming that there are no speed boosts because it outspeeds everything other than Whimsicott. And finally, I liked Okie Dokie just because I think offensively it hits everything on their team for good damage. And with an Assault Vest, it can take most hits other than the Great Tusk Headlong Rush. And so that's the idea, and let's get into the match. Here we are for game one. I'm very excited because these are the 6 exact mons that I prepped for, and I believe pretty much every single Terra type was exactly the Terra type I prepped for as well. And so with this, my game one lead I kind of wanted to do was lead Volbeat as a means to make it a little bit awkward for their Whimsicott lead, because it definitely encourages them, us to match Tailwind, or I can Encore them if they just hit click Tailwind, or if they try to taunt me. And I decided I want to go with Gliscor lead. The reason why that, it's the only one that can guarantee the one-hit KO into Whimsicott. And then in the back, I like Greninja. Greninja, I think, in prep has been the best Mon, and so I was very excited to use this, bring this Mon, especially because it outspeeds everything on their team. And then Okie Dokie kind of just seems like the most consistent in the back. I definitely feel like I maybe rushed a little bit. I could have thought a little bit more, possibly considered something like Ambipom because it also does outspeed everything. But these were the kind of the 4 core of my team. The basis of my team was those 4, and then the other 2 were kind of just throw-ons at the end, and the Ambipom and the Sinistcha. And so I decided to just go with my core 4 for game 1. And so let's get into the game. So they lead Thunderous and Whimsicott into my Gliscor and Volbeat. Thunderous is Terra Flying, so my Gliscor should be able to survive any attack from that. So here I decided to just go for the Tailwind and the dual wing beat into Whimsicott. It should guarantee kill the Whimsicott. And hopefully they just go for a taunt to prevent my Tailwind in the Volbeat spot. And we'll see what happens. They end up going for the Terra Flying on the Thunderous, which I'm pretty fine with. And they end up revealing that they're Worry Seed, getting rid of my Prankster. This was something I was not surprised on. This was something that I considered in prep, mainly because of my prep partner Matrix, and they end up getting the clean one-hit KO with this. There's no way I survived this Flying Terra Blast because I did not EV train it to survive it, and they also revealed to be Life Orb, which even does more so damage. However, if I connect this dual wing beat, I'm going to kill Whimsicott, and I'm pretty happy with trading my Volbeat for their Whimsicott, because honestly speaking, the only reason my Volbeat is there is a way to counter their Whimsicott. And so that is a completely fair trade from my perspective. And so now that Whimsicott gone, they don't have Tailwind up. Greninja makes the most sense as a means to be able to get some speed control with Icy Winds. And they bring out the Tinkaton. So with Tinkaton out, I am a little bit concerned of fake out. The big question is do I want to read fake out, go for like the Terra Ghost here, Icy Wind, or just go for the double protect and be pretty safe? I've seen Brave run no fake out on Tinkaton before with Swords Dance, so it's a little bit stressful to just go for the double protect here in case they do go for a Swords Dance. However, I don't really want to try to make a hard read here and think that just makes the most sense to, double protect. And they end up actually going for the fake out, so I'm pretty happy with the decision. Terra Ghost, Icy One would have been pretty good, but I think this is a pretty reasonable decision. And they ended up just going for the double up into the Greninja spot. And so here, we want to go for the Icy One to get a little bit of speed control. This will get Gliscor outspeed the Pokemon. The big question is, do I want to try to kill the Thundurus or kill the Tinkaton? I decided to go for the Thundurus because I think it's more concerning, especially because Tinkaton can be one-shot later on with high horsepower kind of at any moment. I think this might have been a little bit, overly aggressive because Tinkaton I know is a guaranteed kill, where Thundurus I don't think is a guaranteed kill with this dual wing beat. And so there's a chance that Greninja goes down, where Greninja seems pretty important in this matchup for speed control purposes, especially in the late game. So we get the Icy Wind, which does a pretty good chunk of damage to the Thundurus. However, I don't think it's enough damage that I'm going to be able to get the kill with this dual wing beat. We get the dual wing beat off, ends up bringing Thundurus down, just barely missing out on the KO. However, luckily, we do kill them with their Life Orb, so they end up going down, but definitely a little bit sad that my Sash got broken here. When I probably could have just killed the Tinkaton and been in really good shape. Hopefully they don't kill my Greninja with the Tinkaton, in which they do. So definitely a little sad there. Like I said, I think this could have been avoided if I just killed the Tinkaton, because my Gliscor is very safe in that position. And so Icy Wind, kill Tinkaton with high horsepower was probably the correct play. So here we bring out Okidoki, and they end up revealing that they have Great Tusk. I have no speed investment on either of these Pokemon, so I'm assuming Great Tusk will outspeed both of these Mons. And so now it's just kind of a 50-50, because if I need to Terra, whichever one Great Tusk is going to target, because Ice Spinner will one-shot Gliscor, and then Headlong Rush will one-shot Okidoki, so I need to Terra one of the two. I strongly consider Okidoki because it's the best defensively into the two. However, my big issue with this is that high horsepower likely doesn't kill Tinkaton from this range, and I really want to kill Tinkaton. So I think I need to Terra the Gliscor. However, I kind of run out of time here, so I kind of make an actively bad decision at the last minute, which is go for the high horsepower. Don't Terra, which I think is fine, but I end up tearing and also going for a high horsepower into the Tinkaton. I should have gone for a low kick, because Gliscor tearing means that it's guaranteed to survive the turn. And so that means it's going to get that high horsepower off, and low kick does a lot more damage into the Great Tusk. And so I definitely think that was a little bit of misplay, but obviously it's because I was super stressed. They ended up protecting the Great Tusk, which was great for me. If they did not protect there, I could have been in a pretty awkward position. However, luckily we were able to get the clean kill on the Tinkaton. My misclick on the Okidoki ends up not varying because they go for the protect. However, the fact that I ended up tearing ends up being a little bit sad, because we see that they now know my Terra type. However, I'm in pretty good shape because this double up is guaranteed to kill, and they definitely cannot one shot my Gliscor here, and I can get a good damage, super effective stab damage into this Great Tusk that now is at -1 defense, and I'm feeling pretty good about this, but I missed dual wing beat. Super stressful. I think another one will kill if they go for Headlong Rush, and if they don't go for Headlong Rush, I should be able to take some attacks and possibly, be fine. I just need to make sure to not miss another 95% accurate move, and I'm being pretty good shape. Headlong Rush does over 50%, which means if I miss, I lose the game here. Hopefully I can connect, and I connect, and it does get the clean kill now that they're at -2. It looks like I might not have gotten the kill at -1. So a little bit, good that thing to know for the future. But we get there in a pretty close game. I think I could have gotten a lot cleaner if I would have killed the Tinkaton when I had the chance, so that I had Greninja to Icy Wind that Great Tusk in the late game. But happily get there for game 1. Let's get to game 2. Here we are for game 2. So game 1 went pretty well. The big question is do I think they're going to lead Whimsicott again? And I don't think they are. Whimsicott did not go great for them. And so because of that, I don't really want to bring Rollbeat in the front. I want to lead Greninja because Greninja is great into everything that's not Whimsicott lead. And the big question is, what do I want to partner with? And I think Gliscor generically is my best Mon in the matchup. Maybe other than Greninja, but just probably my best Mon in the entire season. And the big question is, what do I want to partner with these two on lead? And I'm really interested in bringing Ambipom. I also consider Volbeat and Okidoki. Okidoki obviously was a little bit awkward into that Great Tusk in the first game. And like I said, Ambipom being able to outspeed that Great Tusk would have been very relevant. Those fake outs would have been really relevant, which is why I'm really interested in the Ambipom. I consider Sinistra, consider Volbeat. The big issue with Volbeat is it doesn't do any damage, so it's a little bit awkward damage-wise. Sinistra, Rage Powders could be really helpful at making Okidogi and Gliscor a little bit better. Being able to Life Dew, heal them up, can make it a little bit better. I just confirmed that I did have Life Dew instead of like Trick Room or something. And I decided just like Ambipom. Like I said, it's really close, but I think Ambipom is actually good in this matchup. I've not brought it the entire season, and I think that it is a good position to try to bring it. So let's get into the match. They end up leading Tinkaton and Walking Wake. And they end up revealing that they're booster energy, specifically that they are booster speed, which is nice to know. But and so here the big question is do I want to read that they're not going to go for the fake out or read that they are going to go for the fake out? I can, Terra Ghost, go for an Icy Wind, which I'm really intrigued in. Or I can just go for Double Protect, or even just read that they're not going to protect at all. And I decide that I should go for the safer play, just go for the Double Protect. Like I said, I'm not positive if this was the correct play. The idea with this was I just felt like it was, too early of wasting my Terra type in order to try to get just an Icy Wind off. And so they end up switching out into Torkoal, which makes that their boost energy ends up not proccing, but this is going to make them have really powerful moves with the Sun boosted Hydro Steam. I decided to go for the Double Protect. We'll see what they end up doing. And they end up going for the Hydro Steam into the Gliscor, which would have one-shot me if I didn't Terra. Sadly, we didn't get the Icy Wind off. We could have, if we just went with the Greninja, but I think it was fine not wasting my Terra. So here, I just go for the Icy Wind, try to get a little bit of speed drop on that Walking Wake. And I go for the Terra Water to actually be able to take a Hydro Steam and go for the high horsepower into the Torkoal. Likely this doesn't kill. I am Expert Belt, but Torkoal's really good, physically bulky. And I expect them to be a little bit more supportive Torkoal rather than offensive Torkoal. So we Terra Water the Gliscor, and they end up going for Draco. So that really good play on their side. They read that I was probably going to Terra. I did EV to survive that Draco, so I'm pretty happy I survived. And hopefully, and now since I double connect with the Icy Wind, I should outspeed Walking Wake next turn with my Greninja, and we get the high horsepower off into Torkoal and get a kill because we get a crit. That was a huge crit. There's pretty much zero chance that I one-shot that without the crit. I expect that probably would have gone for probably just like a Heat Wave there. It would have broken my sash on my Greninja, which would have been pretty big, but I'm pretty sure my Gliscor would have survived. Since I'm Terra Watered. And so here they just bring out Tinkaton. And the big question is, do I want to read that Double Protect? Or, do I Double Protect reading a fake out or not? And I decide I don't actually want to do that. Like, I strongly consider the Double Protect. However, it gives them a pretty clean switch in. And so, I think just going for the Icy Wind high horsepower, trying to get the kill on Tinkaton makes a lot of sense here, especially because I am guaranteed outspeed. And even if they do just go for a fake out into one of these Mons, they need to double up to kill. And because they are -2 special attack, I also kind of expect that Walking Wake might switch out, which it does here, which is pretty big. And if they bring in something like Thunderous, this is going to be a really good chunk of damage. They end up bringing out Thunderous as we see, and this is going to do a very nice damage and lower most of the speed, letting pretty much everything on my back outspeed these two Mons, which is really exciting. And because they're going for a Terra Ground here, this means I'm pretty sure they didn't go for a fake out, which makes a lot of sense. And so I'm actually quite happy with this turn, even though I'm not going to get the one shot because they did Terra. The Icy Wind does a pretty good chunk of damage to both of them because they are Terra ground. On Tinkaton, Tinkaton kind of pretty much reveals that it's assault vest based on that damage. However, we do bring it down pretty low, and they end up bringing my Greninja down to 1 HP. So here I feel like I'm in amazing shape. Both of my Mons outspeed both of their Mons, and I can threaten to one-shot both of these. So I decided to go for the Ice Beam to get the kill onto the Thunderous, and I decided to go for Knockoff instead of High Horsepower. Knockoff should kill from this range, and it's 100% accurate, so I don't want to really miss a High Horsepower missing. It obviously gets a little bit punished if Walking Wake switches in, but I don't think it's that big of a deal because, you know, it'll still be a reasonable amount of chip damage. And so they do, in fact, switch out, meaning that High Horsepower would have been a lot more relevant damage. However, like I said, I just want a 100% accurate move, not risk anything bad. And they get the speed boost because, you know, the sun is up. We get a clean one-hit KO onto the Thunderous with the Ice Beam, and now we're in great shape because, you know, they're down to 2 Mons. I still have all 4, and both of their Mons are pretty low HP, specifically the Tinkaton, which is kind of in range of almost anything on my team. And so they bring back out the Tinkaton, and the big question is how many turns of Sun are left, because I really want to save Greninja for after the Sun, and this is the last turn of Sun, which means we can just protect, and then next turn we get Icy Wind to get speed control on the Suicune, which is really big. So we protect with the Greninja and the Gliscor. Like I said, last turn of Sun, we're in amazing shape with this Icy Wind speed control after that because Greninja is going to outspeed both of them. They, in fact, go for the Fake Out into the Gliscor, makes sense, and they end up going for a Breaking Swipe, which is somewhat of a surprising move. However, it makes sense. Try to get the double knockout here and get a little bit of, be in pretty good shape there. However, with the sun going down, now my Greninja outspeeds everything on their team. I could obviously just see guaranteed damage with Ice Beam into Tinkaton and get that guaranteed kill, but I want to speed control on this Walking Wake because I feel like I'm in pretty great shape with the 2 Mons in the back, and the big focus is being able to kill Tinkaton because I believe my Okidoki should be able to kill Walking Wake in a 1v1 in the late game. So we get the speed drop, so now we're really happy speed tiers for the rest of the game. They end up revealing that they're still faster than my Gliscor. However, luckily for me, my Gliscor takes that Breaking Swipe. So definitely could have been a little bit awkward. However, I still think it was an okay decision to go there because, even if we would have lost both Mons here. However, we didn't lose Gliscor. We were able to get the kill onto the Tinkaton with the knockoff. They revealed that they weren't AB as expected. And now we just bring out the Ambipom because it's guaranteed to outspeed. We get the clean Fake Out into it if they don't have Protect, and if they do have Protect, then we just guarantee outspeeding, get some good damage. So we get the Fake Out, Technician boosted, Stab boosted, pretty good chunk of damage. I just go for the High Horsepower. They end up not protecting. We get the Fake Out, and the High Horsepower connects, and we get the kill, winning the WDC Season 2. This was a very big win. I'm very happy. It was a great play by Brave. It was a really hard fought season for them, especially because they had to fight through top 2, top 3 expected to win teams in the league to make it to the finals. But I'm really happy to win WDC. Matrix, you great at running leagues. You're also great at helping your prep. Great person. I appreciate you hosting it. And Miss Mag, even though you did not help me with this, I also have to give a shout out for you to helping this entire season. I'm going to do a video later on going over my entire season, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but very happy. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to do a little bit of a team wrap up at the end, but thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed everything, and I will see you in a later season. And here we are. I decided to do the team breakdown at the end of the video instead of the beginning. I don't expect many people to watch this, but it's just here for me, mainly for me because I feel the need and desire to do this. So the idea behind some of these decisions was Greninja. I decided I wanted Terra Ghost because I wanted to be able to not get hit by Fake Out. That was pretty much the only reason. The Focus Sash was so I don't have to worry about any there's no ways I'm going to be able to EV train to survive like a Headlong Rush from Great Tusk or a Thunderbolt from Life Orb Thunderous. And so, being able to just have the Focus Sash guarantee is the obvious play. I went with Torrent instead of Protean, and ended up being the case that Protean probably would have been a little bit better because, um, the ice damage would have been somewhat nice. But I went with Torrent because I specifically wanted to keep the Dark typing so that Whimsicott couldn't Encore me if I protected in front of it. And that was kind of the main idea behind that. And then obviously, like I said, the main idea is like water coverage hits everything for pretty good damage, and then ice hits everything else. Like it hits everything for at least neutral. With Icy Wind as my main speed control outside of Volbeat. The Okie Dokie, I struggled a lot with the Terra type. I decided to go with Terra Bug so that I could take ground and fighting moves from Great Tusk quite well. It's really awkward, specifically into Flying Terra Blast on the Thunderous. However, other than that, I liked the Terra Bug. I went with Toxic Chain because I wasn't expecting them to bring their Intimidator. So, and then in addition to that, if they were Sash and Whimsicott, Poison Jab has a pretty good chance to one-shot because there's a 50% chance to poison the Whimsicott into that. Other than that, low kick is just the best damage into Great Tusk, and it also one-shots Snorlax. So that's kind of the idea with the low quick. Next up, we have Volbeat. I went with Mental Herb because I was expecting Whimsicott to go for Pranks or Taunts into my Volbeat, and I also expected them to read that I was Cobra Cloak so that and not go for fake outs into the Volbeat. However, ended up not really mattering. I guess I just got one shot at the one, and no actions were played because they ended up going with Worry Seed on the Whimsicott, which I did discuss with. I did discuss the possibility of that going into the set, and so it didn't catch me off guard too much, but other than Flying Terra Blast on Thunderous, nothing one-shotted Volbeat. So like even still, I think it would have been okay. But like I said, I think the set was fine. It just kind of didn't line up well to specifically Whimsicott. Next up, we had Gliscor. I had to go with the Expert Belt specifically because I wanted to get the guaranteed one-shot on a bulky Whimsicott and the guaranteed one-shot on Tinkaton, assuming neither of them Terra. And that was kind of the big idea behind the Expert Belt. I went with the Hyper Cutter specifically because I was expecting possibly like Charms from Whimsicott. However, like none of the other abilities are particularly relevant. If knockoff was just general consistent damage. Next up, we have the Sinistcha. I wasn't a huge fan of Sinistcha in team prep, but nothing else seemed great. I felt like I had to go with Heat Proof because of their Sun mode, because I wanted to be able to survive a move from like Torkoal or Sun Boost Flamethrowers from Walking Wake and be able to Rage Powder away. And obviously the Life Dew would be pretty relevant, mainly to the Gliscor and the Okie Dokie. The other ones, it doesn't really affect too much. But the main idea would be like Rage Powder. And then Matcha Gotcha and Shadow Ball hits everything for pretty reasonably neutral. I went with the Terra Fairy because Draco Meters, especially if they were booster special attack on the Walking Wake, could possibly one-shot the Sinistcha. And so being able to just have the Fairy Terror make him concerned about clicking the Draco was the main idea. And then finally, we have the Ambipom with Technician, Wide Lens, Triple Axle. That allowed me to get some extra bulk such that I could survive pretty much anything other than a fighting move. And the Triple Axle has 97% chance to hit all three times and was guaranteed one hit KO on Thunderous and Whimsicott. And then also did pretty good damage to Great Tusk. I think it was a guaranteed 2-hit KO onto it. And then obviously just fake out because I wasn't expecting them to have any Cobra Cloak Mons, given the fact that I have not ran Ambipom the entire season, which means I not brought fake out the entire season. And in addition to that, I brought in very little, secondary effect moves in all honesty. Like very few like Icy Winds or Snarls this entire season. And then the last two moves were kind of just throw-ons. It was, fake out, triple X were the big ones that I really cared about. Double hit is just neutral damage that with Wide Lens and Technician, it's the best consistent damage. And I decided to go with low sweep as a means to get a little bit of speed control with Ambipom because it lowers the speed by one stage. I consider a lot of other moves, but none of them were super exciting. Other than these mons, I considered Weirdeer specifically to one-shot Grey Tusk. However, because I was expecting Clear Amulet, the Intimidate didn't seem as relevant. And the speed on it was a little bit awkward, especially since I didn't really have a desire to set up Trick Room or fight in Trick Room at all. And then obviously I considered Raging Bolt, but yeah, like I said at the beginning of the video, I felt like it was really awkward because I felt like they're gonna have good prep to it. It's really awkward in a Great Tusk. It really needs to Terra, and that's kind of the issue was with it, and that I kind of just felt like it wasn't going to pull its weight, and I definitely wouldn't have brought it if it was in any of my 6 months, based on what ended up happening. So it would probably possibly been fine at encouraging some type of leads, but I think I was pretty happy with the mons I brought each game. And so with that, that's kind of just the basis of my team, why I brought what I did, and some of the thoughts. Um, Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you made it all the way here. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm super excited to have gotten this win. Thank you so much.